I find it super interesting that many of the men I've known and myself in these relationships, masculine in their professional role, they're dominating their life, they're dominating their business, they're dominating this industry, they're changing it up. And then at home, it's a whole different ballgame. They were just trying to ask for permission to come to this event, trying to get away from their home, their family, their kids, their wife. And it felt as if they were trying to get off the leash.
I am so tired. That is an identity thing, right?
And some people, that becomes their identity. They're always tired, not enough sleep. That's it. TV shows, being on social media in the evening.
I think that the problem, the root problem, is the lack of acknowledgement of the addiction.
So we're in Vegas and it's like, I'm poor. I don't like these people. I don't like my life. Just bad thoughts flooding my mind. People say they're rich. Well, you act rich, right? Or you think you can get rich by going to casinos, and people go there, act like they're single and are going to strip clubs. These are not solutions. These are chasing temporary solutions without addressing the root problem. I had a topic idea for today.
Let's go.
Sleep. Feeling like an idiot. I'm feeling half my brain's working.
How much time did you sleep today?
We were in Las Vegas together for like 3-4 days, and then I was there another day or two. I don't think I slept more than 4 or 5 hours any of those days.
When events usually are tough because there is a lot of stimulation going. If it's in Vegas, if it's in Miami, or if it's in Montana, it doesn't really matter. Like those kind of events, especially for you as an extrovert, there's a lot of excitement. So that usually affects the sleep because there's no winding down that you do in your day.
I was back home for a day, so I didn't have my glasses that block stuff that helps me sleep. I have a whole like sleep kit, which we can talk about. I was riding solo without my equipment, without my stuff. So not only was it a new location and the excitement, like you said, then my own mistake, I left behind the stuff I use to help enable the best sleep possible wherever I am.
It's normal that we're going to be sleeping less because of all the excitement, because of conversations that are very, very interesting that run until 11 p.m. when we are usually already sleeping at 11 p.m. Think about this in our day-to-day, all the usually exciting, amazing growth mindset conversations, they end up by 7 p.m., 8 p.m., maybe 6 p.m. And here is nonstop from the beginning of the day until the end of the night. So I think that it's normal that our brain is just overstimulated and that we are not going to be sleeping as good as we usually sleep. So that is the other approach, to say, it's fine. It's fine. I know that I'm going to be sleeping a total of maybe 5 hours or 7 hours less than if I was in my house, and I'm cool with that. Or the other one also is to say, 10 p.m., bye guys, sayonara, just go to bed.
That's deep, man. What would you say your path is?
I think that it depends. So just for context, we were in one event, we were all in a house, and it was a very small group of incredible humans. And that was in Las Vegas, but it was not even close to the Strip. So we couldn't really feel the horrendous energy that happens in the Strip. Those were not conversations about, let's just go and drink and gamble and this and that, and everyone is smoking. This was very calm and chill conversations. So I think that's one kind of trip, and that was incredible for me, and I had no problem.
Just mention the planner. What the planner did, and you axe that before you move on to the second. Remember her party package, the drinks and stuff at the house, and her plan and
yeah. So we have an event planner, and she put the schedule together without really much directions from us. And when I saw it, I'm like, no, that's not the kind of group of people that we are. Because she was like, okay, Vegas, they want to party, they want to drink. We're gonna literally start having dinner like at 9 p.m. I'm like, are we back in Argentina? What's going on here? So it's like, no, this is not what we want to do. So it was a whole different trip that we had planned, which is much more chill and in-house, indoor type of trip. Even though we put, of course, hiking and so on, but it was, you know what? No, we are not going to end every day at 11, 12. We want to end at 9, 10. So let's just move the whole schedule. And I would say that was great. I did not really get very good sleep there because my room was shit. I don't know what happened. It was so fucking cold. So that was my excuse for not getting very good. Another thing that I am using, it really helps me. And I discovered this when I was in your house. I was jet lagged, so I wake up and what is my mind saying, or what is my internal commentary talking about? It's like, oh my gosh, I'm so tired. I'm so tired. And then I said, wait a second. I say this shit all the time. almost all the time that I am tired, I say this thing. What if I flip it? What if I say, I have so much energy? And I know some people listening will be like, oh, but you are lying to yourself. Like, whatever I'm going to say, it can be construed as a lie. I am so tired. What the fuck does that even mean?
Yeah.
I'm just going to stay in the bed? No, I'm going to go and live my day and maximize my day as much as I can. So why is it helpful to say, I'm so tired. I don't have too much energy. The right thing would be, oh, really? You don't have energy? Go to sleep. No, but I really want to do this. Then flip it.
Yeah.
Then say that you have a lot of energy. Because if you don't have energy, just cut it short, go to sleep, no problem. Or let me text everyone and say, like, hey, guys, I'm not going to be participating in the first sessions or breakfast. I'm going to keep sleeping 2 more hours. Very valid point. So I realized that this cassette or this CD or this song has been playing for a long time. But catching that at the beginning of last year, so whatever, that was a big one. So just flipping it. I have so much energy.
Have you been using that regularly?
I've been using it. Not as frequent because I don't always realize that I am saying, I'm so tired. And also a different thing would be to say, today I feel a little bit slow right now. Right now, in this moment, I feel a little bit slow. Okay. But I am framing it with a specific time frame rather than, I am so tired. That is an identity thing, right?
Yeah.
I am so tired. And I don't think that's helpful whatsoever.
And some people, that becomes their identity. They're always tired. And then that leads to, I can't operate without my coffee. I got to have 3 coffees, or I'm drinking 5 a day.
So you don't drink coffee, by the way. If you drink coffee, just drop a coffee emoji in the comments.
If you hate me for not drinking coffee.
If you hate that Peter doesn't drink coffee and have very strong opinions about coffee, then you can put a coffee, a face of a man, and a shitty emoji, like a poop emoji.
Yeah.
Peter will understand that that's for him.
And I'm going to read every comment.
Share with people about your experience with coffee and your strong opinions about coffee.
Yeah, it's relatively simple. It's kind of.
I want that you polarize the audience. Just trigger them. Okay.
Yeah, let's trigger them. Let's get them stressed. I think the first thing is it's the most popular drug on earth. Right. That's fascinating. Just as a fact.
Why is it a drug?
Because it's a stimulant that you ingest and has a chemical response and reaction in your body.
Just because it comes from Colombia doesn't mean that it's a drug, okay?
2 great drugs out of Colombia. One's white, one's black. Both are popular. I don't do either one of them.
Peter, you already have too much energy, so I don't know what it would look like if you're drinking those things.
Now, this is fascinating. This is what people say so often whenever I say this. What if we flip it? Why do I have so much energy?
Wait, are you saying that you have so much energy because you don't depend on those stimulants?
I don't know for certain. Could it be true? Most of the people I know, I have 2 buddies who have never had coffee, high energy people. There's a great book, Why We Sleep, talks through this natural circadian rhythm. And 70-80% of people are on this circadian rhythm where they sleep normally at night and, are up during the day. There's a small portion that are kind of the actual night owls. For most of humans' existence, other than this little tiny blink of an eye existence since Thomas Edison, lights didn't exist. So you had the big light turned on, the sun. You got it to stimulate your eye and start your chemical reaction to be awake. Your circadian rhythm, your cortisol would spike, you'd be awake, you'd be active. You'd kill an animal, you'd catch some food, you'd get some berries, whatever, eat. Then you'd kind of tell jokes and start relaxing. And then towards the very end, we learned how to use fire. So you'd light a fire and that'd give you a little bit of light. Before that light went off, you went off. You went to bed. You cuddled, you made children. You played with your children. You did whatever it was, right, as you got ready for bed. That is deeply ingrained in our bodies and our minds. And then suddenly, Thomas Edison has 10,000 mistakes and 1 success, makes light bulbs, and before that, fire, right, for a short time. These just transformed our circadian rhythm. And so because of that, we changed this whole sleep paradigm where we started staying up later, right? So now that I'm staying up later while I'm waking up, the one thing that didn't change was my alarm clock, right? We have to get to the factory. We have to get to school. We have to get to our obligation. Well, because that didn't change, but our sleep did. And if you look at it, I think around 1900, the average amount of sleep, do you know what it was for an American?
No clue.
Guess.
8 hours.
I remember it as 1900 was 9. Guess what it is today?
6.
6.5. So you think about, we just took a cut, right? From 9 to 6, right?
Yeah, that's insane.
Huge cut. right? 9 to 6.5, whatever it is. When you zoom out and look at it from that perspective, everything makes sense, right? So for me, I'm less focused on like what the stimulant is, right? Zins are popular. It's like a caffeine pouch, coffee, whatever it is, right? There's these drinks that have 4 cups of coffee. These energy drinks are really popping up too. If the goal is to have energy, right? These are all just methods to try and acquire energy. What's another way to acquire energy? Sleep 9 hours. Go back to 8, 9 hours. And some people are like, I can't do that. Open your phone, go through settings, general, time on phone. Okay, great. Now look at the applications. How much is on social media? Okay, how much is on stuff that doesn't have to happen? Oh, wow. 4, 5 hours a day? Okay. So if we cut that out, flipped it to sleep. Oh, now we're 6 to 8. Oh, now we're 7 to 9. Right. And so I think these are getting into the root issues, which for me, I don't want to sound like I have it all figured out. I slept horribly all week and my brain's half off. So I'm still right here on the battlefield trying to figure it out. But the biggest changes I had, some of my rules are no cell phones in my bed. Why? Because I have a weak brain. And I'm laying in the bed and then suddenly it's 2 a.m. I'm like, what happened? It was at 9:30. Like, why am I still up at 2? What happened? And it's texts or YouTube or whatever has got my attention. That's one rule. So golden rule, no cell phones in the beds. Beds are for sleeping and, making sweet, sweet love if you want to have children.
What if you don't want to have children?
I was raised in the Catholic Church. There's only sex after marriage. Outside of that, doesn't exist.
Shut up, Peter. I was in Vegas with you. I saw everything.
Guys in their 30s and 40s, when you're still going to strip clubs and do all that stuff, it's like, man, you're in a dark place. Okay, so rule number 1, don't go to strip clubs. Fix the root problem, which is typically our source of energy is sleep. So if we cut sleep from 9 down to 6, right? We shaved off 33%. That's a big hit.
What is the source problem in your opinion?
For most people, including myself, I was spending too much time on stuff I didn't need to do on my phone, TV, shows, whatever it was. That was taking away time that for many generations, hundreds and thousands of years, it was used to sleep. Because I was flipping into these screens, and the screens are the opposite, right? The screens stimulate my eye the same the way the sun does. So it actually wakes me up. And you do that before bed. 1, you're losing time to sleep. 2, you're actually damaging your sleep because your eye is being stimulated and your circadian rhythm's getting thrown off.
Okay, but in short, what is the problem?
Not enough sleep.
That's the result. Why is that happening?
TV shows, being on social media in the evening, as well as when you're on those screens, it's waking you up. So it cuts into even the sleep you have.
I have a different opinion on that, even though, of course, that I agree with what you're saying. I think that the root problem, is the lack of acknowledgement of the addiction that we have. If I don't realize that I have an addiction to TV, to social media, to coffee, then how am I going to change? Why am I going to change?
You're spot on. And I think another example is alcohol, right? I've seen so many people that were like, I don't drink that much. It's only a couple drinks a night. And then when they start using these devices that track their HRV and their health, they're like, holy smokes. When I drink, I do not sleep. My heart's doing this. My sleep is doing this. When I don't drink, it's just solid. And this is part of it. Not only are we sleeping less, we're sleeping horribly. So you're taking 9 down to 6, and you're taking that 6 and you're really getting more like 3 good hours at most. Most of your REM sleep happens after 4 to 4.5 hours of sleep. So then you're just hacking that completely. I had 3 hot takes that were game changers for me. Number 1, cut out the TV, the screens, the light. I wear the crazy 3 lenses that I pop on the shades for the orange glasses. They're magnetic. You pop 3 lenses on. 2 is you don't set an alarm to wake up. You set an alarm to go to bed. So I get an alarm at 8:45 every night and I'll forget about it. It's my only alarm the entire day. The only one I set on a recurring daily basis.
And number 3, I'm sure that is the bomb.
That's the bomb one. That's the one that's going to change everyone's life. The other one too, I took sleep supplement the first time ever on this Vegas trip, which I wasn't excited about. I think it was it Ambien? No, not Ambien. What is it?
Cocaine?
It is the opposite.
What is the opposite of cocaine?
The opposite, melatonin.
Isn't it the opposite?
Is ketamine the one that puts you to sleep? Yeah,
I don't
probably
know.
the opposite.
The brand is or something.
That's
like
it.
that. A friend of ours, doctor, recommended this pill. So, okay, what was was the first time that you take this?
First time
this
I've
pill?
ever. First time I believe I've ever taken it.
You said that you took half one night.
Yeah, I slept very, very little. I felt like I didn't sleep at all, and I was just waking up every 10 minutes. So then you gave me over-the-counter sleeping aid, which kind of freaks me out because I feel like people get addicted to those as well. I took half of it, and then I woke up and I was wide awake. I think I went to bed at like 11, woke up wide awake at 2 a.m. I had some weird dream with Taylor Swift. I don't know what was happening, but it was a really weird. I'm not a Taylor Swift fan. Wide awake, something about Taylor Swift.
She turned you into a Democrat.
I was a Swiftie taking over the world, big Swiftie Democrat. And I took the other half. And then, boom, I woke up and I was like 6 or 7 in the morning. I was like, this is awesome. The second night didn't work quite as well.
You took half or you took one?
Half and then half. The second night I took one, and I don't remember what happened, but it felt like I just woke up. This is my third mic drop sleep trick. I had a big struggle. I think there's certain people that are super creative or they get ideas that come into them at night. They wake up and they just can't stop going. So there was a study or a research lab in the UK that was really effective about helping people get over their sleep problems. And guess what you're going to love this. Guess what the biggest trick is? I'll give you a hint. It's a flip.
Yes, I know it, but say it.
It's 2 a.m. I wake up. I'm like, I gotta go to sleep. I'm so tired. So what do? We try and force it. Sleep, sleep, sleep. All we're doing is revving up our engine, our mind, our heart, everything. So you do the exact opposite. You flip it. You say, I gotta stay up. I'm gonna stay up all night.
I am not allowed to go to sleep.
I'm not allowed to go to sleep. If that doesn't work, or I feel like I was too revved up, or my idea, or my Taylor Swift nightmare, or whatever it is. Number 2 is I learned some meditation. In this case, it's you just come back to your breathing, or you come back to. I had a meditation TM that I was doing, transcendental meditation. So you have this little phrase, and you just keep saying it. And the beautiful thing with meditation is you either fall asleep or you just calm and feel peaceful. Those 2 tricks changed my life. Changed my life. How about you? Did you have sleep trouble at any point and use anything?
Yeah, I've been sleeping not much whatsoever, and I've been tracking with the Aura ring. Yeah, I've been having this kind of like identity of like, oh, I struggle with the sleep and this and that. Last year, I've been making several improvements. Right now, I am looking to understand what is the ideal time to go to bed for me. Usually, I was going to bed like at 11 or whatever. And then I started going at 9, and that was a big game changer. The ring, for whatever reason, is telling me that I need to go to bed later, that's how my body usually benefits the most for going to bed like at 10:30. So I am playing a little bit with that. Now, the other part that for me is a massive difference is now that I am in the Americas time zone, that is a big change because I was in the European time zone for a very, very long time. What that means is that I have to stop my meetings, but the messages keep coming. The conversations keep happening. So I can be going to bed at 10 and it's 3 p.m. for you. So you are still on your prime.
Yeah.
And I'm like, geez, so my brain is kind of active, right? And what happens also is, if I wake up in the middle of the night and I don't sleep with my phone close to me, but let's say that I sleep with the phone far away, and I'm like, I want to check because it was this conversation that was interesting, and I can see I have 27 messages. Like right now, being in the Americas time zone, if I do that, I have 0 messages, 0 new messages. So I think that is going to really help me with my nervous system, calming down, relaxing, because I won't have the stimulation. So not an easy thing for me, but I am working to make it better. And this year my goal is, so again, I track with Aura Ring. The average last year was 6 hours and 22 minutes of sleep, being asleep. This is not hours in bed, this is being asleep. So my goal for this year is to increase that to 7 hours. Just a random number that I am feeling that when I sleep 7 hours, I am feeling much more energetic.
And are you usually in bed about an hour more? So would it be a total of 8, but sleeping 7?
That's usually, but sometimes no, because if I wake up in the middle of the night and I am moving around, meditating or whatever for 1 hour, now all of a sudden I have 2 hours in bed. So I don't really want to count that one.
The other game changer for me, which I haven't been following this rule and my sleep's been suffering, is the 9 to 9. So the goal is like 9 p.m. or even 8 to 8 is a really good one. Like I have kids, so I put the kids to bed. I really should just be off the phone after the kids go down, and I don't touch it till 8 a.m. because it's really a drug, right? I mean, we can look at our screen usage and the dopamine hit that fires in our brain and all of this.
Well,
whether
let
it's
me make a
parent or
distinction
anyone.
on that, because you went to an absolute. You went to a vodka drinker. So you say, I have to be off the phone by 8 p.m. And I would say, no, it depends. It depends. If you are having a great conversation with someone that you really like, and it fills up your curiosity bucket or your growth bucket or your relationship bucket, then fuck it, why not? But if you are just jerking off with social media, that's a different story. That is, if you are
Totally agree.
just watching clips of Taylor Swift, that's a different story.
Well, dude, I have a deep bond with her. She's in my dream. we're pretty connected.
I think that it depends what you're doing. It's like saying drinking liquids is bad. It's like, well, what kind of liquid? Is it coffee? Is it alcohol? Is it water?
It's a good clarification. I still look at it a little bit as the phone for me is kind of the same reason I don't have chocolate and sweets in my house. If I had it in my house,
You have an
I'd probably
addiction.
just eat it. Yeah.
Well, do you use the app that I recommend to you, Burnout Body?
I have it, but I haven't set it up yet. Hey,
there you
don't
go.
forget, subscribe now for negative 5% off. You pay more if you subscribe with Peter and Pablo at Burnout Buddy.
So Burnout Body, use the promo code I get 0% off to get 0% off. I love the app. The app is great. It's awesome. You have a strict mode that in order to unlock whatever you are locked in a strict mode, you have to tap the phone. I think that is 200 times, basically.
Wow.
So there is
Do
a
you
possibility.
feel like a drug addict when you're tapping? Like, gotta get it now.
Yeah, it's very cool. It's very good to be like, oh, okay, I'm tapping 200 times. What is so important about this?
Dude, it's so great to just put some friction. Because I have the Apple one that just says,
bullshit.
Use it for a minute, 15 minutes or a day. I've got too hard of an addiction. I need to up the friction.
Yeah, because you said like, okay, skip for today, right?
Pablo, look at me. I want the pain. I want it.
Well, you have the app. Do that. I don't know why you're not doing it.
Yeah, I should. How long have you used it?
I've been on and off. But I think I had it for a year and a half, maybe.
This looks great, man. This looks really good.
But for example, when we are on the trip, like WhatsApp is the main method of communication. And I don't really want WhatsApp to be cut off at 9 p.m. because there's still conversations. So I had to unlock it.
The thing on WhatsApp and the trip I look at is most of our communication is the group you're with. Because the point I agree with and disagree at the same time would be, I'm trying to be more diligent about just going to have the in-person experiences.
Because that's what you need, right?
Yeah, correct.
That's what you need. You realize in-person is better for you than online. It's not that I dislike the in-person. I like the in-person. But me as an introvert,
You just hate people.
Being with so many people, it's just draining. And there's so many people, so many different energies, so many different goals that people have in that same conversation. And that is not the place that I really shine. You do, right? You go here, there, connect with everyone. And that's what fills up your bucket. Mine would get drained with that.
It's funny. Post-COVID, I think I'm more introverted. What I would encourage was, if somebody's introverted, it's their small
Then I don't
group.
know what was happening before COVID, because
oh, dude, I was pure
were
like
wild.
FOMO. I need to be everywhere, dude. In high school, everybody like joked because if on a Friday night I would go hit 3 or 4 parties, and I say this not to say I'm cool. I say it's like it's kind of pathetic. Like I was in such a FOMO, like gotta see everyone, gotta go everywhere. And I could drive. I did a victory lap in kindergarten with my triplet brother and sister. So I was 16, like 3-4 months into high school. So I could drive everywhere all of high school, which is rare. I was super old for the grade, but that basically meant that I could just pop in and out. And most of these kids would get dropped off at one place by their parents freshman year and then picked up. And I developed this terrible habit of just, you'd go here from 7 to 7:30 and here from 8:30 to 9:15, and then here from 9:15 to 10. And I think I'm finally unwiring it post-COVID, to answer your question. Like, I had a bad habit of trying to do too much in one night, and then you don't do anything.
For me, that would not be healthy. I would not want to do that. For me, that would be hurting myself. For you, I definitely see you getting recharged with all that.
I'm definitely recharged by people. And I think everyone, even introverts oftentimes it's their people, right? It's that 1-2 people, or a group of 3 or 4, or a group of 2 or 3. What I'm challenging is, obviously we live in a digital world, people's friends live across the country, across the world, but the more you can store up the time and crank on the important work schedule, then you can really prioritize trying to go see them for a weekend or see them one night a week. And I fully agree. If I'm having an amazing conversation in person, keep letting it roll, until I'm really losing my brain or realizing. I do struggle a little bit on the keeping conversation rolling that's purely a chat group, or phone call is kind of different. Like, if I think of the spectrum, there's in-person's ideal, phone calls like still great in the middle. Digital, for me, there's just high risk. I get pulled into other stuff on the phone. I'm weak. It's a drug. That's one of the challenges. Maybe your burnout buddy code, Pablo and Peter.
100% that will really help you. But I don't understand. You said group chats, and you talk about that like as if it's a negative.
For me, it is.
Remove yourself from the groups.
I'll go a day, like today, I haven't really been on my phone, so I'll go a day and I won't look at any of them. And if I look at my phone post, say, 8 p.m., then it's almost like a to-do. I just start going through them, and they're entertaining.
Okay.
And I actually had this discussion just earlier today, right, about I don't watch TV and I don't really watch movies. And I was being told, like, well, you're an idiot and you're different, and this is part of our culture. So we got into kind of deeper, and they're like, well, it's entertaining. And that, like, these group chats for me, they are entertaining. Some of them are like my best friends, right? I want to have those for the rest of my life. It's more of these larger ones that are just, they're kind of like a form of like pornography. They're just like stimulating your mind, and you're getting like this kick where I don't think it's actually good for us.
Masturbator?
Both, yes. Both were true in high school. You said sleep is really important. You're trying to get from roughly
6:22 to 7.
To 7.
Average a night.
You have noticed that your app, sponsored by Pablo and Peter, has really helped you because you can block different modes, and you're blocking them, and then you have to do your addict, scratch your neck 200 times to get in.
Yeah, the app is a good hack. Living in the time zone where most of the people that I interact with is also a great hack. Finding what is the right time for my body to go to sleep, that is also a great hack. I don't really struggle with eating late at night or any of that stuff.
How far do you eat before you sleep? What's your time?
We usually have dinner at 6:30. And if I am in bed 9:30, 10:30, so that's not a problem. I think that for me, it's much more about the identity, changing the identity, changing the internal dialogue of, I struggle with the sleep type of dialogue. I am not a good sleeper to, I am a professional sleeper.
Yeah.
So to me, it's more about that. And that's what I am working and carving with my chisel and hammer, carving the new identity. I think that is much more about that.
That's deep. And I think it's a really powerful shift to say, I have energy. I'm a good sleeper.
Yeah, I'm a great sleeper. I'm a professional sleeper. I have great energy.
You were saying I'm a horrible sleeper. You flipped it.
Yeah, exactly.
So now I'm great.
Everything that we are saying with this mental dialogue is bullshit. So at least I want to tell a very, very good, positive bullshit to myself.
You're totally right. It's just a story that's been created that didn't actually exist. That's in our, that we're creating from nothing.
It's a story. So I prefer to have a good story rather than a bad one.
And the last one is, you were living in Europe, traveling to the Americas often.
I wouldn't say traveling to the US often. I would, even though, of course, traveling to the US had a big impact with the jet lag, but it's more about most of the people that I interact with, they are in the Americas time zone. So being in the same time zone, game changer.
Well, and you fixed the root problem. You moved yourself to that time zone. But when you were traveling, you did find a over-the-counter sleep aid that would help because of our buddy who's a doctor who said just use this, right?
So the idea with that sleep aid, that drug, which again is over the counter, even though of course it's not recommended to be using that all the time or anything like that. But at the beginning when I said, hey, how do you do with the jet lag? Because you are traveling here from the West Coast to the East Coast. And it's like, oh, I just have this little pill. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to take any drugs. And he's like, well, anything that you do is a trade-off. So yes, you're coming from Europe. You right now you're going to have massive jet lag. It's up to you. You're going to be sleeping like shit for the next 5 days. Or you take this pill, it's going to knock you out. You're going to sleep incredible for 8 hours. And yes, it is a little bit of drug. Yeah. But which drug do you prefer? The drug of not sleeping or the drug that is going to help you sleep? I'm like, oh, fuck, you're right.
And if you flip it from the drug to just say, which brain damage do you prefer? Like, you're going to be brain damaged from no sleep.
Oh my gosh.
Or you're going to have some brain damage potentially from this drug, right? Changing the chemicals or some issue we don't know about today. So
yes,
you're going to have brain damage. Which one's going to be less is a neat way to think of it.
Yeah, so that's what I do. What about you, to summarize it?
I try and do a 8 to 8 or 9 to 9, like 12-hour, you're off phones. I always keep it in the bathroom. That was a big change, was it can't be near my bed for a lot of reasons. Not by the bed, so it's in the bathroom, 12 to 12. Set the alarm to go to bed, not to wake up. So you set an alarm at whatever to kick off your routine, and boom, you just go into your routine. When you can't fall asleep and you wake up, 2 things, flip it. I'm staying up all night. You can't prevent me, Peter. And then meditation, right? Go into the breathing. You win either way with meditation. Doing them together is a 1-2 punch. I don't know that one of them worked incredibly well, but when I kind of take away a shield by saying you can't fall asleep, and then like I've broken through my shield of my shitty story I'm telling myself, and then I can hit it with a 1-2 punch with meditation. Those are the big ones. And then no screens. Use plenty of friends make fun of me and say I'm getting scammed, but I love these 3-layered orange glasses. So the first layer is just yellow and you use in the afternoon. The second layer you use as it gets dark, and the third layer I put that on when it's like, close to bedtime, an hour or two before. I don't drink alcohol. I feel drunk. Like it knocks my mind on a different level. And I forgot those in Vegas, right? So we're in Vegas and it's the opposite. I think that's part of what got me, was it just shifted me from, I was on a good routine. I really was good at blocking the artificial light that wakes us up and stimulates our brain like the sun, to like, okay, none of it, to boom. Vegas never sleeps. I mean, it is bright light everywhere all the time in a crazy way. The final thing on the sleep I remember really being off was, and it ties in a little bit, I think, to this energy and some of what we were saying, was we were off by the mountains, had an awesome house, deep conversations, deep growth. It felt like we were just in a desert with a small group of amazing friends. Really great experience, really great energy. Yeah, sleep wasn't great, but then we went in to do a dinner at a restaurant, and something happened when I got there. I was like, oh, I just had these terrible feelings. Like, I'm poor. I don't like these people. I don't like my life. Just like everything hit me with just bad thoughts flooding my mind. And I remember sitting there, and the window looked straight out at the Vegas Strip, all the lights, all the hotels, all the stuff. And I didn't connect the dots, but it was so funny because after dinner, I felt so off at that dinner or the restaurant, or something shifted me. But I think I slept the worst that night. That was my worst night of sleep.
Wow. Yeah, I did not feel that in that restaurant. And I think that the theory was that my back was facing the big window. So I was just looking at the interior of the private room that we were having the dinner. You were in front of me, so you were having all this stimulation in front of you. There was, what I definitely felt is the new kind of people around us that is much more gambly type of people.
And this is something that hits me in a deep way of, I went to Vegas I remember I went 3 times in 3 months in my 20s. And, I look back and I look at now, and I think what has changed, at least me in that place, part of me says I try and flip it, right? It's a beautiful place, right? You can be anything and anyone, and you can make a bunch of money and all of these, and there's these great entertainment and all of it. So that's the positive, right? That's, the sphere is this magical entertainment circle and lights, all of this. The other side is, think about it. It's a place that says they, quote, never sleep. Well, that's not possible. You destroy yourself by not sleeping. Step 2, people say they're rich. Well, you act rich, right? Or you think you can get rich by going to casinos, and 1 out of 100 crush it, or 1 out of 1,000, or 1 out of 1,000,000. I don't know the numbers on. And the other 99.9% end up losing a lot of money, end up way worse than they were before, right? People go there, act like they're single, and are, going to strip clubs, go into prostitutes, whatever it is. Those actions are all not who they are. So it's what tying back to some of our points on drugs and other things. It's trying to stimulate another feeling. Let's say I don't have enough energy because I didn't sleep, or I was on screens before bed. I wake up, I use a stimulant to try and be someone else. Boom. I'm feeling better, right? I've solved it, is what we tell ourselves. Same thing with chasing things in Las Vegas. I hate my life. Okay, well, here I could be someone else and I've solved it, right? Like I can put $1,000 down and turn into 100,000, solved. Or here's a girl that tells me I'm great, and I pay her. These are not solutions. These are temporary chasing symptoms, right? Chasing temporary solutions without addressing the root problem. And I think for me, I'm no saint. I've made a ton of mistakes. I'm always learning. It brings me to this realization of I don't want to be around people that are doing that. I don't want to spend energy in places that attract that. It's just not where I am right now or where I'm trying to focus. And I spent plenty of my life in this denial or trying to be something else or wanting to feel rich and not the poor kid Peter. That's not attractive to me anymore.
I had a meeting with my coach and we were talking about, I mentioned about Vegas. She's like, yeah, when I've been there, the amount of demons that I saw walking around, like I've never seen before. And I was like, holy shit. Wow.
I don't think I'll go back for 10 or 15 years.
Now, here's the hack, I would say. If imagine that there is another conference and you're like, oh, no, we want to go there, etc., etc. It's like, yeah, but we are not staying in the Strip.
I was just going to say the same thing.
I'm not going to stay there. Fuck that.
And you're right, because I'm kind of going to an absolute. I'm not going back for 10 or 15 years. I'm a cranky old man. You're avoiding the absolute and saying, whoa, this is an event that's going to be amazing, or a group of people coming from around the world that are amazing. It's one of the largest hotel places for conventions in the world. Or I think the largest, potentially. So why don't I just do it my own way? Why don't I create my own path?
Yeah. But then, okay, let's just keep flipping this. What kind of incredible, spectacular conference is happening in a hotel?
And why are we going to it?
Seriously, what that you really want to go? For example, I want to go and see Metallica in the Sphere. Okay, that happens in the Sphere. It doesn't happen in a hotel. I do not need to stay in the hotel. And it just happens for one night. I just go there, get the fuck out. What kind of conference do I want to go? Do you want to go? Well, like a real estate conference?
The good cap rates are at the real estate conferences. The largest real estate conference in the world is going on right now in Vegas, by the way.
There you go. There you go.
I'm going to get a killer cap rate deal. I'm going to get rich.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Where else do you want to do it? Right there.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's a deeper level too. If I have hundreds of the placards, little signed badges from conferences. Like in my business, conferences were how we generated most of our clients.
I agree. Me too, of course. But we're not doing that, right?
And that's my point. I also don't want to feel like that again. That wasn't a good phase of life.
But that is a different phase, and that is extremely transactional. I think that Vegas is transactional. It's maybe the most biggest place. You go to Vegas is to transact in all shapes and forms.
It's real.
Fuck you, Vegas. See you next life.
You gave me brain damage. You gave me a little bit of a good time. I hate you.
No, I feel also we felt a lot of contrast because we were coming from the house that is not in the Strip and having an incredible time with incredible people. And then all of a sudden, all this addiction just hit us in the face. It's like, whoa, this is...
I think you're right. Also, I think the second event we went to has some incredible people, but there's also a good amount of transactional people. And
it has 10% of the people are incredible, that are more thoughtful, deep, and then 90% is transaction.
Yeah. And I think versus the flip, right? We're spending 90% transformational, 10% transactional the first part. New venue, new location, new set of people, transactional, 90%, 10% transformational.
And not only that, again, everyone else around, even the people that were not in that conference, everyone, as you're walking there, is all how do you say, facade?
Yeah, facade. It's all show. I mean, that's the interesting thing, right? You have some of the most incredible shows in the world, whether it's Metallica or Things of the Sphere or these stages, but it's almost everyone's part of the show there. If you're sitting in a slot machine, you're part of the show. You have this belief you're going to become
I don't
rich
know.
because of
Okay,
these lights.
disgusting. Let's move on.
I find it super interesting that many of the men I've known and myself, Pablo, you as well, in these relationships will play a feminine energy, or let's use it in the Eastern Chinese sense of the word, which would be defined as non-committal, go with the flow, not have clear thought, being really supportive, worried about others' feelings, your emotions, versus the masculine, more finite, direct, specific, looking to a result. I know that a lot of these guys that we were with, you could hear this pushback. I mean, I can remember at least 3, 4, 5 talking about essentially how they were just trying to ask for permission to come to this event, trying to get away from their home, their family, their kids, their wife. And it felt as if they were trying to get off the leash or trying to get this freedom. You see that in a relationship where you're feeling stuck, trying to be something else. That would be another kind of feminine, you're supporting someone else. So I think it's interesting. We can use Vegas as an example or this event. We can also just go broader. And it's fascinating to me. I see it as a theme with men who are extremely masculine in their professional role. They're dominating their life. They're dominating their business. They're dominating this industry. They're changing it up. And then at home, it's a whole different ballgame. And myself, I was an example of that.
I'm going to start with my assumption from a foundational point of view, and then we can build on from that. So I believe that in a male-female relationship, we all have masculine and feminine energy, but in that male-female relationship, only one party can have the predominant masculine energy and the other party has the predominant feminine energy. That is how we get balanced. And most of the times, I have not really seen others, but from a nature point of view, the male is the one that has the predominant masculine energy, and the woman is the one that has the predominant feminine energy. That's from a natural point of view. In the natural state, that's how it works. That's my assumption. That's what I have been discovering in this lifetime. And that's how we work in a very stable, coordinated, balanced way between the two of us.
And just to clarify for the keyboard warriors, or you've seen relationships where the female is in her masculine or driving the masculine energy. Is that correct?
Yes. I have not really seen examples, and I am sure that they exist, where that couple felt in love, being the woman being the person that is bringing the predominant masculine energy, and the man being the person that is bringing the predominant feminine energy. In a natural state, they felt in love. If you say, like, why were you in love? Or tell me the characteristics of your current husband. But when you guys met, what did you love so much about? And usually it's about, I felt very safe around him. His strength, his certainty. I was able to calm down, and I just loved being with that kind of presence. That's usually what a woman would say. And again, I am not talking about what do you think, what do you would like in the future. No. Just go to the past. What were the characteristics that you felt in love with?
It's so fascinating when you're saying this, because I always say, yeah, I know great examples of family and friends that, I mean, these are amazing women, right? That are kind of driving the couple, but I wouldn't say any of them, as I'm just thinking through my little N of one, right? My example of friends and relationships, 5 to 10 groups, none of them I would say are thriving down the road.
Sorry, what? Say it again.
I was just thinking, in a business group that we were part of, as well as friends, family, just 5 to 10 examples I have where it's clear that the woman brings the masculine energy. She's driving the show, maybe major breadwinner, kind of the decision maker. I have man, I have like 3-4 family members across multiple generations, plus none of those relationships are thriving. Like, let's say they've been together or they're married with kids. It's 10 years in. Because I think falling in love is just, we all put some rosy glasses on and he or she seem amazing, even if they're terrible for us, terrible in general, whatever. I think it's more interesting to look 5-10 years out. And I don't know if that's just a poor sample size.
No, because I would say that the falling in love part is the most important part to understand how our energies are aligned in their natural state. Of course, you may have crazy, shitty examples, but the most of us, most normal people, when you look back and you say, okay, what? I am not really having a very good relationship right now with my spouse. These things do not feel right. Okay, good. That sucks, but okay, let's just analyze it then. Go back 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago when you guys met. What were the things that you really loved about your spouse? What were the characteristics? And most of the time, the woman would say, I love how masculine. And again, I start naming all these different characteristics of the masculine energy. And the man would say the same thing, but for the woman on a feminine energy. And then over time, and then we can speak about why this happens, then things get inverted. And then you look at those couples, you can see it. The man is all hunched over. The woman has like the voice is deeper than Tony Robbins' voice. It's like such a masculine voice that they develop, and they are leading the family. They are the people in charge. And you can even see when they are walking. The woman is walking in front of the man. The man is just walking slowly, and what tends to happen, and I am putting everyone on the same basket here, but it's kind of like this: the woman becomes the mom, the man becomes the kid. The kid needs to ask permission to mom to see if they can go to an event, for the event that they want to go to attend, to better themselves. What the fuck are we talking about? You are 60 years old.
That's deep, man.
You're 50 years old. You're 40 years old. What's going on here?
I'll flip it back to myself. 3 things that came to mind were, one, I haven't seen the voice changes, but I've seen like very stressed women.
Dude,
I'm just saying I haven't in my
the
own.
voice, just pay attention. It's insane.
The second was when you think about the masculine, right, and why women want it. This is what gets me going. And there's two examples. The first was something I saw this morning where it said, I hate happy wife, happy life. And I've said this to you before. In this video clip started with that. I was like, this is interesting. It said, that puts the man in a position of trying to be subservient to every wish that comes from a woman's mind. And it doesn't matter what relationship, business partnership, you never want to have a fully subservient everything you want. And he said, I propose we adjust it to happy spouse, happy house. And in this concept, each spouse is trying to help the other one find their true self and be content. And if both sides are attempting that effort, it lifts up the relationship. I thought that's an interesting change. But specifically on the masculine side, have you heard about this Carnegie medal that's given? So Andrew Carnegie was a billionaire around 1900, made like the largest steel company ever when steel was, basically the AI of the time. It was like the new, truly foundational aspect to building, changed the world. So he said, well, I want to give away all my money. So he said, I'm going to give a good chunk of change to anyone who saves a stranger's life in America or Canada. Anyone. But it has to be a stranger and a sign of heroism, right? And rewarding them for that heroic act. They didn't expect to get anything. Guess how many people have been rewarded that in 100 years? And then guess how many are women? What percentage are women and what percentage are men?
I would say that the split is 90% men, 10% women. And I would say that how many medals? How many years?
Like 1903 or 4, something early 1900s.
So I would say 100 medals.
10,000 medals.
Okay.
90-10 split.
Okay, 90-10.
You nailed it.
Shocking. I'm sure that it has nothing to do with the nature.
Well, and I heard this and I thought, holy cow, this goes so against this whole toxic masculinity. I don't understand what that means or what that's saying. This concept of you're a woman, you want to feel you can be protected and saved by this man, that he can be a source of stability and protection, right? Serve in two roles to protect and provide. It's like, I can understand that. I have, daughters now. It's like, I want that for them in their relationship as well. I try to be that for them as a father. I last night had a little tiny girl, baby girl going, I'm so scared. And I said, you're safe in this house. I will protect you. You don't have to worry. And you saw her relax. Right. And then woke up, she's scared. She's on me at night. Right. She's cuddling next to me, coming in our room. And I get her to calm, then I carry her back to her bed. That is an honor and a privilege to be able to provide and try and do that for her. And I hope to support her in a way that she searches for that in a partner and feels enough safety and security to want to seek that out. And then if you take this to the extreme, right? Okay, people can say, Peter, you're horrible, blah, blah, blah. Let's go to an extreme. There's a fire in the house. I have a couple little girls. Am I so fat I can't carry the kids out? Am I, so weak I can't throw two of them on my shoulders and get the heck out of this house? There's something imbalanced, right? When the man is so weak mentally, physically, which those oftentimes come in pairs, right? That they're not able to provide protection to their family. And I think that's deeply felt in the core of a wife, daughters, even a son at these younger ages. And it really breaks a family. It breaks the dynamic.
Couple of disagreements that I have with the happiness thing. To me, the happiness is each other's person's job. Number one, if one person is not happy with themselves, doesn't matter what you really do most of the time, because it's their job to say, you know what, I want to change this, and I'm gonna take action on this. The other part that I think that people use, which is a horrendous mistake, is they use this term compromise. In a sense, and they say it in the following ways, like, well, in a marriage, you need to compromise. Kind of like we need to meet in the middle, we need to negotiate. And I say, fuck that. Because what are you compromising? What are you negotiating? And to me, to keep life super simple, there are two types of things that we have individually. We have non-negotiables and we have nice-to-haves. So nice-to-haves are preferences, and non-negotiables are exactly what it says. No, I'm not going to negotiate this. This is part of who I am, and I am not going to bend who I am to satisfy anyone. This is who I am. This is what I want in my life, period. And in my opinion, those non-negotiables are not much. They are 3, 5, not many. And we have non-negotiables personally. We have also non-negotiables in a relationship. So understanding what those non-negotiables are critical for our success. Because when people say we need to compromise, most likely what they are saying is, I am so weak that I don't have clarity on my non-negotiables, and therefore I am negotiating what I really want in life with my spouse, which should be the biggest fun that anyone should have. Our spouse should be our biggest fan, and we should be the biggest fan of our spouse, period. So if I understand my spouse needs this as a non-negotiable to be the best version of herself, I should be so fucking happy to be able to support that, whatever that means. Now, I get that the challenge would be when there is a massive conflict. Let's say that one person, just to keep it super simple, one person says, for me, a non-negotiable is I want to live in this house for the rest of my life because it holds so many good memories, and here's where I want to build a family, and I just want to go to the same place on vacation for the rest of my life, and that's what I want. And then you have another person that is like, I want to travel the world. I've been traveling the world, and I feel that my spirit, my soul needs to be moving around for me to be fulfilling my purpose in life. So 2 people, 2 different purposes, totally contradictory. One person will need to give up, or both people will need to compromise, whatever we call it. This is a losing scenario. But besides that random example, I just go back to, if you're saying that you are compromising, like I need to compromise and we need to we need to negotiate, I would say you are full of shit. and you are shooting yourself on the foot because you are negotiating your non-negotiables. So as an example, a non-negotiable for a person can be, I always want to be learning. I always want to be growing. I do this all the time. I do this when I wake up, when I am on a walk, when I am on the gym. I attend to conference because I want to get exposed to new ideas. And that's how I feel that I am fulfilling my purpose in life. One of my purposes in life. Great. Fantastic. Then one day you get married, you have kids, don't have kids, doesn't matter. And then you just keep traveling. You go into these events, these conferences, and then your wife eventually starts telling you, hey, you're spending too much time outside of the house. Hey, what, you don't love us? Hey, or whatever way they say it. And now all of a sudden you start feeling guilty about it. And then all of a sudden you start, you know what, I don't really want to fight. Therefore, I'm just going to give up on my dreams a little bit and I'm going to stay. Then you start building up resentment. Then you start hating the other person. But in fact, what you are doing is you're hating yourself for not having the balls, for not having the self-awareness, for not having the courage to sit down and to have the conversation. So like, hey, I understand that you would prefer that I'm here. This is the reason why I go there to these places. This is what I need in my life. This is what I want in my life and has nothing to do with you or the family or this or that. And this is where many of us fail. And then we start fighting and then everything escalates. And then everything ends up in a bad way. It can be the relationship ends. It can be that the relationship ends, or it can be that we still stick together, but in fact, we really don't want to. And in fact, I can't wait until the kids go out of the house so then I can make the decision. So I think that all this can be solved very easily by understanding what are your non-negotiables. And everything else is a nice to have. So how to do this? Just sit down with yourself. You can even use one of the AIs to have a conversation about this, to figure out what are your non-negotiables. And the non-negotiables are not current desires. You need to find the underlying, you can start there, but you have to find the underlying theme on the things that you like doing, that you enjoy doing. Because those themes, I believe that those themes are with us for a very, very long time. Decades, maybe the whole life, maybe previous lives. And figure out what those are. It's fundamental so we can live a life of alignment. Unless we respect ourselves, we're not going to get respect from other people.
I love it, man. I think coming back to kind of your initial response, you had said, the happy spouse, happy house. I actually agree with that statement. I don't love the word happy. I'll call it peaceful spouse, peaceful house. You jumped into how to get them. I'm not saying I would want to or advising. We agree with each other. I'm just clarifying for people to understand. I'm a fan and student of Carl Jung and his individuation process, which I've talked to you about a lot. But it's actually getting them into the dark side from their light that allows them to grow and find their peacefulness, right? So I'm not saying succumb to whatever they ask or that the man should do that for the woman for the man. Not that at all. It's actually supporting them as they go into the journey in the dark caves within their own hearts and souls to discover, shine light on that area and become more of a whole person, whole soul, and be in alignment. So let's be really specific as an example. An example might be, hey, honey, do you want to be on your phone late at night? You've had that issue with pornography or social media or not sleeping and then being really mad all day at everyone, right? That's just a question. That might aggravate them, right? That might help them. But you as a spouse are supporting them on this journey, to go down this road. Another example, tying it back to, let's say, Las Vegas is, hey, I'm going to this event, right? Your partner says, I don't want you to go. Well, now they've made a decision. They're choosing to be in a location, wherever you call home. You're choosing to be in a different location. Both of you have the option to stay with the other. One stay with the other go with the other. Each person's choosing to not be with them. And I think it's Where I see a lot of struggle is the partner, the girlfriend, boyfriend, whoever that wants to leave is viewed as wrong just because they're in a different location. And identifying that is coming back to your point. They're in alignment. They're actually in the right place. They're in the place they're supposed to be. The other partner may be in the place they're supposed to be, staying home. Or the other partner says, you know what, I might enjoy this thing. Let me tag along. But agreeing with your point, if someone's too scared to say, I need this, this is where I'm supposed to be. I've thought about it. I know it. I feel it. This is where I need to be. It's funny, we're saying Las Vegas. Let's say whatever, this amazing conference event, purpose, that is so important that they get it. And I'm flipping your initial appointment of, I think in a lot of relationships, you actually need to encourage and allow your partner to suffer, to go through the hard time, to grow into their peaceful self or their best self. And that's part of your role, is not stopping that, not preventing that, or trying to fix their problems for them. A lot of the guys, right, we just want to fix the problem. We want to be Mr. Fix-It. Well, sometimes our girlfriend, our wife, our partner needs to feel that pain to want to change, right? The no pain, no gain. Like, why do I keep fixing it if it keeps happening? Oh, I'm the root problem. I need to support them on this journey, allow them to suffer a little bit to get there. And that's a different spin on how to get there and how to get them to their most peaceful place. And I look at a lot of these houses you go in where you're like, man, this is a peaceful place. There's been a lot of suffering, probably on both sides, to arrive at that peace. It wasn't peace arrived, they got to a peaceful. It was suffering led them to the peace and finding themselves.
It's important, maybe for many people that are going to be watching this, is that in many cases, especially men, that built a very successful business and they've been traveling a lot all over the USA, maybe abroad, because of their business. What happens when your business is not the excuse anymore? Because, at the beginning, you are traveling and you are providing, and maybe you go from a small house to a bigger house, and now you have a better car, and it makes sense, right? Your wife is able to see, okay, this is good. This is great. He's able to go and provide. But what happens when you already hit the jackpot? You are not really bringing anything new, and you use the excuse of work to travel. What do you do now? And this is where I think that it's important. Just go back and be sincere with yourself. Why are you going to these places? What is underneath? What is your non-negotiable? Now, there can be definitely the possibility that it's like, I'm just going to Vegas because, there is a conference and I just don't want to be at home. Okay, dude, get sincere. Get honest. Why you don't want to be at home? What is the problem that you're not able to resolve?
This is where I see the men that are so beat up, where the world is at war, right? You're at war to get the deal. You're at the war to get the raise, to sell your business, to grow your business. You're at war, right? When you come home, you want to be at peace. And if you come home to another war, you're spending 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365 days at war. Our bodies and our minds are not made to feel that lack of stability. And this isn't blame on the husband or wife. If anything, when I experienced this in my relationship, it was my own fault for not being in alignment, communicating that as you recommended, to be clear on what I needed or how I needed, or encouraging my partner to communicate that. And that's what creates the war. And that's what creates, in my opinion, the wedge between two people. Because ideally, they are united. They're a united front to war against the challenging world and that we live in.
And I think that for that, there has to be a lot of internal self-awareness and being connected with what we want in life, who we are and what we want in life. Because if I don't really understand this, if I am unhappy with my life, and you are very happy, and in fact, you have a growth mindset and you like going to events to better yourself, and I don't, and I see that you get fucking excited every time that you go away, I won't like that. Because I am miserable here. This is the interesting part about misery, right? When we are miserable, we don't keep it to ourselves. We like to share it with everyone.
Generous.
Wow, we're very generous.
That's good. Yeah, what is it? Like misery has many bedfellows or something like that. It's you bring everybody into it. Okay, sleeping. Game changer, the most powerful shift in my sleep was going deep, deep down a rabbit hole. So I've read a bunch of books on sleeping, three specifically around jaws. I was a big snorer. Do you snore? Have you ever snored?
When I'm very tired.
Really? That's fascinating. When all night you snore if you were really tired?
I don't know. I don't think that all night. I don't think that all night like my old grandfather.
Okay. So think of this. Ready for a flip? If we were living in the wild, what would happen if we were snoring?
Get killed.
There we go. So that alone is a truth. Oh, we're not supposed to snore. Now I can go into all of the science and everything that's happening and I can like briefly touch on it, but that alone is wait a minute. The bear, XYZ animal would come and eat us. We'd be so loud. We're by definition.
Not only that, just bring it a little bit closer. If you are in a war at night and you're hiding, like, well, do you really want to be making noise?
Whatever the predator is another man, it's an animal, depending on where we are. So that's one truth. Then I read by Brian Nestor's Breathe. And Brian referenced, I met and did some sessions with a woman he referenced in the book in New York. She's been doing it for 40 years. And there's this thing called the Alexander method and lineage of all these guys. And it really led me to an interesting pediatric dentist. He traveled the world with his wife to look at people's mouths. And he'd go to the Africans 100 years ago where they ate their normal diet. And then he'd find the Africans 30 miles away that were eating Western diets. Guess who had perfect teeth? Guess who didn't snore? Guess who was in good health?
The people that ate the McDonald's and the Doritos, those have great health, great jaws.
Extra red 40, the dye that's carcinogen. It just keeps you strong, especially your mouth. And then in these books, they talk about, you can see the skulls from 1,000, 5,000 years ago. Typically, they looked beautiful. No crooked teeth. They didn't have braces. Why do we need braces? This all comes to root cause versus symptoms. Well, the root cause is when we're not chewing actual food, our upper palate starts to collapse and our tongue has nowhere to go. So it kind of gets pushed backwards.
The same thing happens with shoes and with the arch of our feet, which you love that topic.
Completely. That's it. We'll save that for another day. So my upper arch of my mouth is collapsing. It's narrowing. My tongue has nowhere to go. I start snoring. So I go deep down this because no one's saying it, but I started to feel a little bit foggy in my brain. I didn't feel like my sleep was as good even if I slept long. All of these things felt off. And oh man, I should have brought down all my stuff. Maybe we can add a little bit. But one of the nicknames for it is a jaw bra. It basically goes around here and straps around the top and has a hole for your ears. It just keeps your jaw closed. A lot of people are going to comment, Peter, why aren't you using mouth tape? I did. I used mouth tape for 3 years and I'd wake up with the adhesive in my mouth. It's like,
wait, are you saying that the adhesive is not very good for your to ingest?
It may not be, but it's too good not to. All right, just lick it. I'll just get the stamps out, just lick them.
You're such a tinfoil hat person. Unbelievable.
So
what could go wrong with just leaking the adhesive every night? What?
It's like paint chips as a kid. They were just too good not to eat, right? You just prick them off the side of the building and pop them in. So I start wearing this thing and holy cow, my sleep, I just would wake up refreshed. Not to mention I'm not snoring anymore.
Wait, let me ask you a question. So the problem that you were having is that you were with your mouth open.
Yeah. I think the root problem I will say is the tongue had nowhere to go. So it was blocking, it goes backwards. Right?
So let me ask you a question. How do you prevent from clenching your teeth?
Great question. I did that too. So
how can you do that and keep your mouth open? How can you clench your teeth and keep your mouth open?
It's a great question, but
there's something that doesn't add up here.
Yeah.
Drop in the comments what is not adding up.
He's a liar. I think it would be on and off. You'd clench. I think the clenching was especially, I was stressed at that night. I also have a poor it's called malocclusion. My teeth don't line up well. They're off. So then your teeth are trying to find a grounded position and they're just scraping. But I didn't snore only only because my mouth is open. I think it's a combination of all of a few factors. I don't think we're supposed to cover our mouth with mouth tape. I think it's our backup plan insurance to breathe. And psychologically, it's almost like we're like, I can't talk, this isn't good. That's psychologically not good. In my jaw bra, whatever, there's other names for it. I can still open my mouth and talk. I just have pressure at the bottom. So it causes more, but it's enough pressure I don't do it while I'm sleeping. And you can also get this little ring. It's like an O2 monitor. It's a big, it's actually a decent sized ring. It will look at your oxygen levels throughout the night. When I was snoring, and my dad has sleep apnea is super common, his O2 would crash into like 80s and 70s for extended periods of times. You're basically preventing your brain from getting oxygen. It's the equivalent of suffocating yourself. And your brain is I think a lot of this leads to terrible issues in your brain, right? Because it's being starved of oxygen. And I was only 20 or 30s, starting to experience this, early 30s. So I got really into it. So I started using the oxygen. I started using the jaw bra. Game changer. Snoring stops. Oxygen doesn't crash anymore. Changed my life. And the final thing I did was I got this training. There was kind of like a myofascial work where I would move my tongue, and they would teach me how to, keep my mouth closed and go, you go up, down, and it basically strengthens your tongue. Because you think about, if we're walking wrong or we're biting or moving our tongue the wrong way, we're doing that more than anything. Breathing wrong, that accumulates massive damage to just basic foundational physiological health if we're not doing it the right way. So I did these classes, and I noticed all these weird things. Like when I would open my jaw, I would open it down to the left and then up on this weird path. So you work through recreating these paths. So I did that, jaw bra, and the O2 monitor, and changed my life. And I don't feel like anyone's talking about this. Nobody had mentioned it. I hear snoring and it's like, oh, that's probably not good, but it doesn't really matter. If you hear someone is snoring, red alarm, alert, fire, we got a serious problem here. Apollo 13, we're going down. That's my warning and my communication to people after, 3 books, bunch of specialists, and all my deep dive.
And another thing, my best friend, he used to snore a lot. Like impossible to be sleeping in the same room with him. And he had his septum was deviated. So he got his septum fixed, stopped snoring.
That's great.
Yeah. But also he's the kind of person that he can sleep 10 hours a day, no problem. He sleeps on demand.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much was he getting affected or not.
Well, so let's flip this. What if he could sleep on demand because his sleep was so poor with the snoring? And this is the deep thing. We may be just getting really poor quality sleep. And I think this is the beauty of all of these sleep sensors and these health sensors, is we can start to see this kind of stuff. Pablo's getting horrible sleep. He keeps yawning. Or I'm just boring. Or both.
I'm relaxing.
I'm
relaxing my jaw.
Your sleep. It's when I think about sleep, it's the foundation of health. And actually, our friend who's super into health, I won't mention his name, but he's also he was with us in Vegas. Our friend who's really into health, I asked him, I said, what do you think is the most underrated piece of health? He spends essentially his whole life on health. And it was so funny because he looked at me this week and he goes, people who snore and how damaging that is to your health. Wow. And it's so interesting because it's the small things that have become so common. It's kind of like drinking coffee. These small things have become so common that everyone says, well, everyone does it. And, well, everyone snores. My grandma snored, my dad snored, and I snore. It's a family thing. Or, all my friends snore. All my friends drink coffee in the morning. I think not questioning these things that have become commonplace and believing because they're commonplace, they're good for me is the deep takeaway to consider and think about.
Different topic. I don't want to talk about sleep anymore.
Because I put you to sleep.
It's just too sleepy.
We
spoke like for an hour and a half about sleep.
I put you to sleep. I'm waking up, you're sleeping. We flipped it.
If you want to hire Peter to go and come to your podcast to talk about sleep, he will pay to go. So that's a great hire.
I have 3 great books on it that are on the sleep.
Oh no. Why did I speak? Unbelievable.
I'm going to send him all the Pablo signed copies. and he's going to put them in the trash.
Yeah, question for you. I heard this question from someone, I can't remember, but the question is the following. If this trip, and I want that you answer from a selfish perspective, from your perspective, if this was the best trip that you can ever have here where I'm staying, what are the things that should have happened for that to be true?
Only one thing: the 4-pack getting close.
What's that mean?
You, me, and our ladies.
And what does it mean getting close for you?
Just, I think I'm not putting I can't put data on that because it's hard to define, but I could call it, comfort with each other, hopefully deep conversations. There's different strategies to achieve it, right? A comfort to where, both of the girls are saying, wow, that was really fun. I enjoy our mix or whatever it was. And it doesn't have to mean a max amount of time, right? We've got 3 introverts and a Peter, right? So it's not like overwhelming because that will push it the other way. But enabling experiences, activities, conversations, dinners, whatever it is that enable a closeness for you and I have hit this around the world in different ways, right? I think expanding that is very exciting to me, or a very exciting opportunity, and is the sole intention I have for the trip.
Okay, awesome. And if you would to ask, what would you say? So you have to guess.
I could say with 90% confidence, I haven't talked to her about this. She'd be like, I just want to relax and do bougie things.
What is
Like-
bougie?
Like super nice. Good restaurants, good beaches, good massage. Like she's very much into like rest and relaxation, time without kids, no noises, just calm, quiet.
Time without kids, she said.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She gets so jacked up
Okay.
about time without kids. The first 2 days, she's like, this is incredible. And then by day 3 or 4, that's
I want to
when-
go back.
And it depends on the trip. Like this one, she's going to love it. So she's going to be like, I never want to leave. But by day 4, she's like, I miss my kids. Like I need them. I'm worried about them being away, whatever. But she's just very introverted. And their loud noises make her tired. So time away helps her recharge.
So one important thing, you said that she likes bougie things. Here is the most casual place that you can imagine. So there is zero need. She can pack whatever the fuck she wants, right? But
Yeah.
and it's same with you. But there is zero need to pack anything fancy.
I've
to
got all my
enter.
suits.
Yeah,
The blue one, the
Blazers,
black
yes.
one, the blazer. Okay. The tie, I mean, I got to wear the tie with it.
there's no need for any of that shit. Again, do whatever you want. But if you have pickleball rackets, bring a couple.
Great idea.
I have 2 here. I don't know if you can rent. Maybe you can, but honestly, I have no idea. And yeah, so we can play some paddle, some pickleball, some football, some volleyball, beach, swimming pool, ping pong. Ping pong. I've had ping pong paddles. We can do bowling.
Dude, so excited. I don't want you to feel any burden, any obligation. Time with you and time getting the girls to know each other without kids and in a calmer place. That's all I want. But that's my only intention. How we do that can change by the day. Don't feel like you have to think about it, work hard or anything like that.
Sounds good. What I want to ask you is maybe not to you, or tell me who should I ask? Maybe it's Tessa.
Tessa.
What are the things that you guys want to eat, breakfast, or that?
I thought you meant for your stuff to bring. No, for us, man, we'll eat the stuff you eat. We just try and eat the healthiest stuff.
All right, Big Mac. Good. Awesome.
Dude, why don't we take care of food? That's what I always love to do as guests. Why don't we do the food and you're hosting us? We can go get the food and handle that part.
Okay, that sounds weird, but okay, we can talk about that.
Let's talk about when we get there. Let's defer
Yeah.
that. She loves taking to restaurants. She generally enjoys to cook. All of that stuff is like her jam.
All right, cool.
I thought you were talking about Tessa, your stuff. If I
No,
just
no.
I just want to make sure I bring all your stuff. Whatever.
Yes, make sure that Peter brings everything. he's not reliable. So make sure that everything is packed. And she said, like, don't worry. I am in the chat. We have a group chat with the girls, with Janice and with Tessa. We got this covered.
Dude,
I'm
she's
like,
cool.
okay.
She's really good. I enjoyed talking to her on the phone just yesterday when we were digging into the naming. She's really good. You'll laugh at this. I was lifting weights with my friend Zach yesterday, and he goes, "Hey, do you have a good hairstylist guy?" I go, "I got the best one. He's a hippie. It's just one room, you and him, no loud noises, no other people." He goes, "Oh yeah, I came with you. I met him. He's great." He goes, "Do you have like the link or the website or the booking link?" I was like, "No." He's like, "Well, how do you?" I go, I've never done that. Like, I have no idea." He goes, "No idea?" I go, "Zero. I've never, I don't know what the place is called. I don't know like, I know where to walk and walk in. That's it." And he was like, "I need to work on that. I need to let go of things."
That's awesome.
Well, and I told him even that I'm trying to set it up where every 3 months she just books it. I never mention it. It just shows up on my calendar. My hair grows long about 3 months, except I'm taking your advice. I think I'm going to grow it out longer. To look
I don't
more
know
like,
I don't know if I gave you that advice, but
you
yeah.
said I look more like Tony Robbins, and you said when you get older or when people's hair thin, they wish they could grow it long. So I should
I
do it as
said
long
that.
as I can.
I definitely said that. Yes. Yeah, definitely. Get a mullet for sure. But what I was gonna say, wait, what I was gonna say. Okay, here's the push. Like, why this guy's not coming to your house and cutting the hair of everyone in your house?
Oh, that's a great idea.
Dude,
That's a
why?
freaking great idea.
Unless, because this is maybe from an extrovert point of view, but man, you're spending time in the car. Like, what? Unless that you really understand that, oh my gosh, I just love the time in my car, rather than, because if let's say that you get a haircut in your house, okay, you can use the 40 minutes that you spend driving on a walk.
Yeah,
or whatever that
really
is.
good. It's a really good challenge. He is by bike. It'll be about 4 minutes away, and I love going there on bike. I'm really excited about that.
Yeah,
I
but there you go.
don't enjoy going there by car, but that's only one haircut a year when it's cold enough that I can't go on bike.
Yeah, okay, just for you to check. For
No,
me, it would be like, no, come here, and I don't, because I don't like going and cut my hair whatsoever.
yeah, it's a good challenge. The only other thing I go back and forth, you're gonna laugh at this and tell me I'm full of it and a liar, is that I am trying to be better about. I want an open door policy for the people that are our people, like you and the friends and all the people you saw at my house. It's open door policy. But people that are servicing me or that I'm not totally sure, it's like and I am sensitive, especially with men. It's like you don't totally know every dude, and when you have 4 little kids, there's a little bit of this safety bubble as a provider that I think. And I wouldn't have cared at all prior to having kids, but I think
Very interesting.
it's a thought on my mind of weird stuff can happen, and it's inviting it in.
So you're saying that your barber is a creep? Is that what you're saying?
He touched me. I liked it though. It's classic barber stuff. Happy ending. You get the haircut, and he gets. This is barbershop 101.
All right, and with that, we leave with a happy ending. All right, brother. See you.
See ya.
All right, love you.